Hey, welcome back. It is Thursday, July 7th, 2022. And I gotta mention that I noticed something on yesterday's news, and I'm actually very surprised that I've got the time for it right now. So I'm gonna make this, unfortunately, one of the most briefest ones ever. The article says over 5 million barrels of the reserve oil were exported to Asia and Europe last month as domestic refineries run at full capacity. What this was is 560,000 barrels from the Atlantic Trading and Marketing, as well as 470,000 barrels from Phillips 66. The exports follow similar shipments of Strategic Petroleum Reserve (SPR) in April, when it was shipped to Europe to replace Russian oil. Okay, oil experts from the U.S. oil exports from the U.S. Gulf Coast hit a record rate in this year's second quarter. Now the numbers haven't come up yet, but I'm gonna bet it's it's pretty damn high. Okay. So what we did was sell a whole buttload, almost a full million barrels, and to top it all off, some of it was through the Gulf Coast. I thought they were all shut down, but apparently not. And they hit an all-time high. They hit a record rate for this year's second quarter. Now, there's this one KPLER oil analyst. His name is Matt Smith. He said the prices would be higher if the SPR releases hadn't happened. But at the same time, it isn't really having the effect that was assumed. Okay, first, one word, stupid. It's just so obvious that this mother lover wants to go with the flow of what the oil companies are saying. Oil companies want that damn pipeline opened again. The one that I was talking about in previous posts, the one with cracks, the one with leakage, the one that breaks, the Keystone pipeline. It cracks, it breaks, it opens up. As sure as the earth shifts, it's going to happen. And for 600,000 barrels, we lose about a third of that. Okay, we lose about a third of that every year. And it's leaking into our water, it's leaking into our lands, it's leaking into, depending on where the pipeline has been established, has been set in. And all these oil companies that closed down refineries when the pandemic hit, causing a whole buttload of job layoffs, and then to top it all off, canceling refineries that were supposed to be built because of the pandemic 2 years ago. 2.5 years ago now. They're saying they just don't have the motivation, they don't have the need for it. They made $40 billion in the first quarter year. Okay? $40 billion. It costs about $100 million or so to open up a refinery. It costs about tens of millions, in the low tens of millions, to reopen a closed down refinery. Okay? They made $40 billion in the first quarter year. The second quarter, I don't know how much. The record still hasn't come in, but according to the article, just off of the U.S. Gulf Coast refineries, they hit a record rate in the second quarter. We're now in the third quarter. Those stats have not come up yet, and it's total BS that they're not saying anything when the proof is in the pudding that all this money has been made, and now we're finding out through reserve oil shipments to Europe to make up for the lack of oil that's coming out of Russia. A lot of people are saying, back to that one subject, Nothing like this went on when Trump was around. Well, no, it happened during the Obama administration. It was the attack on Crimea. In fact, it did also happen during the Trump administration. Trump just closed the blind eye to it. So that's quite a bit of oil to pick up and sell to Europe. Then they hit Ukraine just this year, and they hit eastern Ukraine where all the oil refineries are. They've taken it, and now they're trying to make a bunch of money off it. They're going over to other communist countries to earn what they stole from eastern Ukraine. While that was going on, this stuff was happening. Price gouges. And now we're finding out off of the coastal drills. At the same time, the major oil and gas companies, fuel companies, are saying we don't have the incentive to reopen the thing. What they want is our tax-paying dollars to have them to use to pay for reopening the tens of millions of dollars to reopen refineries that are already built. What they want is the hundreds of millions of dollars to build new refineries the way it was supposed to be invested money through their company. Instead, they want it off of our, which technically would have still been off of our tax-paying dollars. This just certifies it legally when the president and the administration agrees to these BS standards. Remember, the price gouging started when Biden said, I want the gas companies, the oil and fuel companies, to pay their fair share of taxes through the tax wealth program, or the wealthy tax program. Okay, where everybody who makes $400,000 or more has to pay their fair share of taxes, no differently than you and I. That's where all of this started. That's where all of this price gouging crap started. And now we're finding out they made $40 billion. They made way more than that. They banked bigger this second quarter year. They made bigger profit. And the only thing that they can do now that all the reserves are being taken away and being sold over to the U.S., to Europe, which means more profit has come in. Okay, they've got the money. They've got the money to reopen those refineries. They've got the money. They've got the money to build new refineries instead of relying on that damn pipeline that's been busting, cracking, breaking, and spilling barrel after barrel, hundreds of thousands of barrels, over 100,000 barrels, because it's 600,000 barrels a day that comes in through that pipeline. But it leaks a third of that every year in various parts of the pipeline where nobody knows what it is until somebody accidentally comes across it. Lately, it's been through the drones. Somebody flying drones that's been noticing the leaks and stuff like that. So it's all coincidental, or if not accidental, when we find these leaks taking place. And then to top it all off, and going off of our U.S. taxpaying dollars, emergency crews, firefighters and such. Pardon me, I forgot this is YouTube. Firefighters and such, instead of pulling out their own money and using their own people. So, to finish this off, no more excuses. No more excuses. You have no reason to price gouge. You have no reason to be telling Congress and the current administration and stuff that they need deregulation. No, you got the deregulation. The oil and fuel companies got the deregulation when Trump was around. And this is what happened. Price gouging, oil refineries closed, new refineries not being built. This is what happened. And then to top it all off, you're taking it out on us with the skyrocketing prices. No, you had your shot. They had their shot to make a damn good impression of being a great fuel source provider and all this other stuff. And this is what wound up happening. This is the result of it. Everybody's just pissed off. The only difference between me and those people of hate is that I know to be angry and upset with the 7 major oil and fuel companies instead of looking at some politician, some governor, some president, the president, some administrative, whatever. They're not responsible for all the price gouging. They're not responsible for all the crap that's going on with the polluting and all this other crap, and saying, oh, freaking well, there's no regulation saying that I have to clean this up. You know, the president and all them, they signed deregulation policies. And this is the effect of those deregulation policies. No more excuses. No more excuses. You are banking off of our Gulf Coast. You are banking off of the refineries that are currently still running. You are banking off of the refineries that have been shut down. You got no money coming in, but yet you're still banking big. The pipeline, it's closed, but yet you're still making $40 billion in the first quarter of a year and X amount more here in the second. And this is all also with lashing out at the people just because they don't want to pay their fair share of taxes. They haven't paid their fair. They're not going to. The wealth tax plan is still not in effect. It's still shot down by the Republican side and the two Democrat traders, Manchin and Sinema. It still hasn't been passed. It hasn't been passed. So what are these guys? So what is the oil companies doing? Jacking up the prices and stuff. They're doing it because of the threat of having to pay their fair share of taxes. It's not even passed. It's not even a bill that's passed by law. So, I'm telling you, it's total BS. It's total BS how we're being treated out here. No more excuses. You've got refineries that are closed. You've got refineries that you still need to build, complete. You don't need the damn pipeline. As sure as you don't have inspectors constantly keeping an eye on it. As sure as we, the people, are accidentally stumbling on the cracks, the breaks, and the leaks. It's we, the people, that are coming across these stuff, these repair problems. Okay, it's not inspectors, it's not engineers, it's not anything provided by the fuel and oil company. No more excuses. Stop your crying. And to Biden, stand your ground. Stand your ground. Stand your ground. President Biden, stand your ground. Because we see, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, we see the BS that's going on here. They were deregulated through the previous president. And this is the crap that we have to go through right now. Oh my God, please, Mr. President, stand your ground. Stand your ground. To hell with these assholes. They need to, shucks, I'm sorry. To heck with these people, these corporations. Forget about it. These corporations, they got to stop doing these tricks, these money greedy tricks of lashing out at the people and making it think it's the president's fault. You know, these greedy tricks of banking off of the Gulf Coast oil. You know, oil, Europe bought that to replace Russian oil. And I think it's a great thing. I think it's a great thing. Because what's the point of buying Russian oil if Russia can't provide the oil unless it invades a country first? Ukraine, Crimea, Kosovo, Bosnia, you know, Croatia. I mean, one country after another of stealing other countries' oil and banking off of that, and everybody believing, wow, Russia's unstoppable. No, Russia's a great provider. No, Russia's not a great provider. Russia doesn't provide jack squat if it has to actually steal the damn oil in order for us to enjoy, in order for the world to enjoy. I really, really wish that ugly reality was pointed out more and more, because it's not just the truth, it's the simple fact that we have the capabilities of overcoming these problems overseas, as well as maintaining our own, holding our own as a country. You know, I don't understand how that is not expressed in the clearest of details, you know, in the clearest of ways, to show it. I don't get it. Maybe, you know, maybe I just need to run for Congress or president, and have to follow through with whatever it is that you have to do. But this is proof that we don't really need to depend on a country that steals, you know, from other countries to be a provider. There's no more excuses. No more excuses. President, stand your ground. All of us, stand our ground. We're already doing it right now, making that dollar stretch, replacing fresh foods or imported foods with canned goods canned here in America, you know. So we're not going to be able to get the Italian pasta. We have to go to ramens, you know. Screw it. We've done this before, you know. Makes me feel like a college kid all over again. Technically, I went there to try to get a degree in something, but I had to drop out because it was all too much for me. But yeah, I mean, we make that dollar stretch and we resort to the bare minimals or bulk, and we'll be all right. You know, we're holding our own on our end, okay? America as a country is holding its own on our end. The only things that's a problem are the people that's making it a problem. Everything from shooters that are following rhetoric, that are out mass shooting, all the way up to greedy freaking corporations that are price gouging. Okay? There's no need for any of that. None. From shootings all the way down to price gouging. There's no need for any of that. We just got to practice holding our own while letting America hold its own, and then carry on from there. Go back to leveling everything out. So that's it. That's Chris's comments today on this subject. No more excuses, guys. No more excuses. Don't tolerate any of this garbage that the corporations are trying to say. That representative and every other representative from that I've been stating, and the ones that are yet to come. Okay? Y'all take care. Y'all take it easy. This is Chris's comments, signing out.